Anthony Davis is making his case for the best player in the NBA. My name's Hawk, let's talk hoops. Last night, the Lakers won game 1 against the Warriors in Golden State, 117-112, and Anthony Davis was absolutely phenomenal. He ended that game with 30 points, 23 rebounds, 5 blocks, and almost all of it exclusively coming from in the paint. Absolute masterclass of dominance for Anthony Davis on both sides of the court in last night's game. Offensively, he exploited the Warriors' drop coverage early and often. We saw the Warriors and Kevon Looney do a lot of drop coverage against Sabonis and leave him open around that free throw line, high post area because Sabonis wasn't hitting that shot and honestly reluctant to take it. When Anthony Davis took that shot early and often, especially in that first quarter, when they say he hit like 3 or 4 shots from that high post area immediately as soon as the game started. And then as the game kept going on, once Looney started stepping up, Davis just drove by him and got to the basket. That was one of the things I was worried about for the Warriors, is how are they going to guard Anthony Davis? Draymond Green talked about it in his post-game presser, and I even unfortunately watched the Draymond Green show because I was curious to see what his thoughts were going to be on the game, and he said, his words, he played horrible and he was disgusted with his play. So I'm very curious to see what the Warriors do to adjust to, you can't say stop Anthony Davis because I don't think they have the personnel to stop him, but to at least try to slow him down. You got to play higher up on him in a high post, but then you also, at the same breath, have to have someone on him mobile enough to, stay with him when he tries to drive by Kevon Looney. Kuminga didn't really play in last night's game. I don't think he's an option, though, in terms of the solution to guard Anthony Davis. I think it's just another lanky body out there. We'll see what they try to do on that front. Defensively, though, Anthony Davis was also phenomenal, gobbling up rebounds. Like I said earlier, he had 4 blocks. He and the Lakers in general deterred the Warriors from scoring in the paint because he had 4 blocks, LeBron had 3 blocks, and Jared Vanderbilt had 2. And speaking of Jared Vanderbilt, we talked about this in the last video. I said, I don't know who the Lakers are going to put on Steph Curry because they have to put somebody on him who's going to stay locked in when he passes the ball away. And ironically, we saw the moment with D'Angelo Russell in the third quarter when Steph did pass the ball away. D'Lo's looking at a ref calling a travel. Steph quickly relocates. D'Lo tries to stay with him, but then Steph hits a big clutch 3 in that fourth. But Jared Vanderbilt, for most of this game, had Steph in, which y'all know me. I love corny nicknames for defenders. Y'all know I'm a fan of the torture chamber. I saw this today. Vanderbilt's Vault. What do they call it? Vander's Vault? Just the tweet I saw earlier at Cooked by Lakers. Welcome to Vandal's Vault. Ignore these stats. They're a little wonky. But welcome to Vandal's Vault. Vandal's Vault is the fieriest nickname I've seen in a long time. And it truly was that. Lakers put together this little compilation of just how well Vanderbilt was staying on Steph and just the defense he was playing. I know Vanderbilt's been amazing defensively for the Lakers all season long. I did not expect them to come out and put him on Steph and for him to do, look at that. He's staying on him, fighting through screens and not letting him get good looks. I did not expect Vanderbilt to be this good defensively on Steph Curry in this game, but I love this wrinkle that Darvin Ham went with. This game was great and the series is going to continue to be great because as a fan, it's really a clash of 2 distinctly different styles. You got the Warriors shooting 53 threes in this game, almost shooting 40% from 3, while the Lakers only made 6, but got to the free throw line 29 times and made 25 of them. And I know Warriors fans, before you go crazy, I already seen y'all going crazy on Twitter. You got to realize y'all aren't taking shots in the paint like that. Y'all aren't aggressively attacking the basket. You're shooting 53s. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but you also have to realize the Lakers get to the basket. They got guys who want to drive, who are looking for contact and trying to get to the free throw line. It's just such a beautiful clash of 2 distinct styles of play. Shout out to D'Angelo Russell. He had a really, really good third quarter. He had 10 in the third. LeBron, honestly, had a solid game. Like, he was rebounding, he was assisting, he had a couple of blocks, but field goal wise, he didn't do much. He was 9 for 24 from the field, 1 for 8 from 3. Still ended up the game with 22 points. But from the Warriors, I'm a little nervous because y'all lost this game, and honestly, I expect LeBron to bounce back later in the series and have a better shooting night than 1 for 8 from 3. Looking at the Warriors, they had a solid game, and that's the part that not worries me, but I'm very curious and honestly excited to see the adjustments that both these coaches decide to make, but especially Steve Kerr. Because when you look at the box score, when you're watching the game, they did what they wanted to do. They got threes up. Their guys made threes at a high clip. Jordan Poole was 6 for 11. Steph Curry for 6 for 13. Klay Thompson was 6 for 16, and we'll talk about him in a second. He was getting on my nerves a little bit in that third quarter. But the Warriors did what they wanted to do. They had 3 guys score 20. Klay and Steph both scored over 25, but they could not stop the Lakers in the paint, like, at all. Looney still was doing his thing. He grabbed 20 rebounds as well. I was very curious to see how well the Warriors were going to rebound against this Lakers team. Looney still did his job there. He just honestly could not contain Anthony Davis. Draymond Green's going to have to step it up defensively. We already covered that. He said himself, like I said, he has to step up and do more on the defensive side of the ball. I'm curious to see if we'll see a couple more double downs from some of the guards. But like we saw in that Nets series with Joel Embiid, it's very hard to double a guy who's got the ball at the high post. So I'm very curious to see what the game plan is going to be for the Warriors there and trying to contain Anthony Davis. I want to talk about Klay Thompson real quick. There was a moment in the third quarter where he essentially shot 3 or 4 somewhat contested threes in a row, missed all of them. And then that's when the Lakers started going on that run and they end up with a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's what kind of fed into that and led into that. And a lot of this, what Klay was doing was shots he probably normally would take, shots that for the most part you want him to take. But when it's 3-4 bricks in a row, I would like to see Steph be a little bit more aggressive offensively, because I think he's going to have to be super aggressive for the Warriors if they want to win this series. Very similar to what he did in that Kings game. Is that exhausting? Yeah. Is it going to be tough for him, especially if the Lakers decide to keep Jared Vanderbilt on him for most of the game? Yeah, it's going to be tough, but that's what they need. Because if Klay Thompson is just going 9 for 25 for the game, that's a lot of, I don't want to say wasted possessions, but they weren't great looks, if we're being honest. Warriors are now in a must-win situation in game 2. They have to tighten some things up. Steph, like I said, you got to be more aggressive. And the reason I'm saying the Warriors are in a must-win situation and they have to tighten things up is because I don't think, like I said, LeBron's not going to go 1 for 8 from 3 again. I don't think D'Angelo Russell's going to go 1 for 5 from 3. Lastly, to talk about the Jordan Poole shot at the end of the game. I don't mind the shot itself. What I'm upset about, or the reason I don't think it was the shot to take, is because the context surrounding it. At the time, Jordan Poole 6 for 10 from 3. Any other point in the game, it's like, yo, let that fly. You got the hot hand. We know you can hit that. But in the context of that moment, Steph's getting doubled. You still have a timeout left. There's like 9-10 seconds left on the shot clock. In that moment when Steph gets doubled, honestly, Steve Kerr, call a timeout. Run a play. Steph, Klay, and Curry, to varying degrees, are all hitting right now. Make all of them weapons and run some off-ball stuff, set some screens with Draymond, set some screens with Looney. They could have got a better shot in my mind, but Poole's shot isn't a bad shot. I just know they could have got a better one if they decided to call a timeout and draw something up. Overall, this series definitely is far from over. Even with the Lakers stealing home court advantage, I still think this can be a 7-game series. And also, I think people are starting to finally see, wow, myself and some other fans, I wouldn't consider myself a Laker fan, but I saw the value in the trades they made. And I think people are seeing on full display when this team is clicking and doing what they're supposed to do and what you think they could do on paper. The Lakers are dangerous, and you see why Lakers fans and LeBron's fans was hyped at the trade deadline. We're seeing it now. That's all I got for now. Leave a like if you're a real one, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.